Happy Energy Awareness Month and happy Weatherization Day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in on this video. And just to share a little bit about us, I'm Catherine Maddox. I'm Project Director for Energy Partnerships at the National Community Action Partnership. And I'm joined today by Christine Baginski, Director of Energy and Environmental Services at the Community Action Partnership of Orange County, California. To share a little bit about Christine's background, she's an experienced energy professional in California with expertise in energy efficiency, demand response, renewable energy, workforce education and training, strategic planning, and policy initiatives. Christine was happy to join the Community Action Partnership of Orange County as the new Director of Energy and Environmental Services in 2018. These include managing contracts for LIHEAP, Department of Energy, and the Energy Savings Assistance Program through SoCal Edison and SoCal Gas. So Christine, just to start off here, please share with us about CAPOC, how y'all are doing, and you know, the array of work that you do. Please share.
Thanks, Catherine. And gosh, what a crazy year this has been. And just this week, as we started communicating with coffee every morning, we had fires here in Orange County. So it just seems that 2020 keeps on giving. There's always something going on. But to tell you a little bit about the Community Action Partnership of Orange County, I just have to say it's an amazing place to work. We provide services both for people in crisis and for longer term resources. But to focus on crisis for a minute, we have 3 family resource centers where we provide food on a daily basis. We have 7 transitional housing units. We have a food bank and we have a diaper bank. And to put into context, COVID-19, pre-COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 in terms of food, because food's always easier to quantify than energy when we're talking to the public. And that's that in August of 2019, we received 1.7 million pounds of food for distribution in the food bank. And this year we received 6.8 million pounds of food. It's an incredible logistical challenge, but we have awesome staff over in the food bank and led by a wonderful director. And they also deliver 25,000 senior food boxes a month. We have a diaper bank that just delivered its millionth diaper. So lots of interesting stuff. It's nice to be part of a community action partnership, that's for sure.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And so for your department specifically, can you share more about the programs that you oversee and the staff there?
Sure. In energy specifically, we have about 35 staff members that implement LIHEAP and DOE programs, as well as our energy service assistance programs with the utilities. And we have a working crew that performs assessments and inspections, and we use a subcontractor model for weatherization.
Great, thanks. So speaking about COVID-19, do you mind sharing then how that's impacted your programs and you know, how's the crew doing? And we'd love to hear.
Sure. And you know, Catherine, everyone has a story this year about how it's impacted them. And I'm sure all the community action agencies have their own. But you're asking a specific question, so I'll tell you how we addressed it here in Orange County. We received the executive order from the governor to shelter in place, and utility assistance is deemed necessary service. So we did continue working. I like to tell our president and CEO, Gregory Scott, that what we did is essentially implemented 35 satellite offices in a week. We sent everyone home. We had to equip them with computers. We had to figure out how to put a firewall in place. Quite challenging. But our call center continued 28 hours a day, 3 languages. We had more calls. We had an increase in calls because there were increased services. And also many of the members of our community couldn't reach unemployment offices or other service offices, and we were picking up. And so we we actually got a lot of very emotional calls at the beginning. And then as for our crew, we sent them home for training. Go home, get on a laptop, here's a laptop, and go ahead and sharpen your saw so that we're even better in the field when we return. That's how COVID started. And then eventually we worked our way into let me just say, first of all, there were lots of bumps along the way. From a technology standpoint, our staff wasn't the most technologically capable at that time, but we all rose to the occasion. They're an amazing group of people, as I know they are around the country. And so we implemented these kind of things, these WebEx means of communication. And we were able to process utility assistance applications with this. And then with respect to our crew, we have a leadership team at Community Action Partnerships of Orange County that meets every week, looks at the COVID circumstances from a national standpoint, from a state standpoint, and then from a local standpoint. And when we determined it was safe to go back in the field, we developed protocols to get our crew back in the fields.
Thank you.
Did you want me to tell you a little bit about our crew going back into the fields?
Thank you. That's perfect. That's perfect. And I know you also mentioned the Tyvek, some Tyvek there. So share about that.
Yeah. So the protocols were obviously to have PPE, and we started out using full Tyvek suits in the field, gloves and booties, and KN95 masks. As we continued our work in the field, and of course we, in all cases, interviewed the resident to make sure no one had symptoms of COVID or were exposed to it, and we do the same with our crew. And then we ordered uniforms, and now the crew comes in the morning, they go into what used to be what we call a family room to process applications, has turned into a locker room, and our crew will change into their uniform and be prepared to go out in the field, and again wearing booties, gloves, and masks. And then when they return, they change back into their regular clothes, and we have those uniforms professionally cleaned. So we've had good success with this model.
Great. Great. So could you also let us know more about what you've been doing during Energy Awareness Month and celebrating all the great work that you've had taking place? And we've seen you online doing a lot of great social media, but yeah, please share.
Sure. So, to maintain some normalcy, we wanted to make sure we promoted Energy Awareness Month again. And so being that we're all at different locations, the best form of communication was through email. So we're sending out information on how weatherization works. And the first week we focused on energy savings, equity, and climate. I found it interesting that there was a recent report by ACEEE that came out that showed low-income Black, Hispanic, and Native American households face higher energy burdens than the Caucasian population. And in fact, it can be as much as 45% higher. And that's before COVID-19. So there's lots to be said about energy savings, equity, and climate. We then focused on jobs and workforce development. We highlighted some of our crew, not sharing what an inspector does, what an assessor does, scheduling, and it was just really well received. And then this last week, which we're in right now, which is innovation, we're sharing about some of the innovation in our ESA contracts. We're actually doing virtual enrollments, we're doing virtual assessments, and we're doing contactless drop-off as measures like light bulbs and surge suppressors. So what an amazing year. And so we thought this was great to highlight in our Energy Awareness Month. And then this Friday, which is when you're going to have your live session, we have a healthy home in our warehouse, and we are going to do a virtual tour of installed measures such as mechanical ventilation and windows and thresholds. And we'll be sending you that link so you can see our video.
Wow, great. And to be able to have those virtual assessments, it's kudos to you all. So great. And as you mentioned, Healthy Homes there, that sounds like a really neat opportunity on Friday. So hopefully we will get to see how that goes for you. It reminds me, just want to make sure folks are aware of the HUD funding opportunity that has been released recently. And I did just see, actually, they changed the due date on that to December 9th, so an extra month. So for those of you interested in reaching out to your local Healthy Homes lead hazard control grantees, and those of you that are looking to partner, so having those folks along with our WAP grantees coming together, and there's opportunities to receive up to $1 million for those grant opportunities. So in 5 locations across the country. So we know there'll be some great response on that, and just want to make sure folks are aware of that. And that just reminded me there as you're talking about the Healthy Homes work you're doing. So,
well, I'm glad to hear there was a change in the deadline.
Yes, I'm needing to get that out to everybody. Make sure you see it. So, great. Well, this was great to hear how things are going there in Orange County. You all are doing amazing work. Thank you so much for your time, Christine. And just want to say, if there's any last words of encouragement for the network.
It's a tough year, but what we like to focus on is being epic, which means being excellent, being proactive, being innovative, being collaborative, and just carry on.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kat.
Take care.
All right. Bye.